Welcome back, or if this is your entry point, welcome to More Than Money, a podcast where we have nuanced conversations about money, business, and life, where we take the time to explore the human side of money because success with money is never just about the numbers. I'm your host, Jacquette Timmons, and this is part two of my conversation with executive relationship and leadership coach, Janis Vogel. In part one, we talked about the difference between being stuck and being afraid, and the hidden cost of performing your way through life, and how the patterns that we inherit from our families, our childhoods, our earliest relationships quietly show up in our careers, our businesses, and yes, our money. In today's episode, Janice walks us through the love method, her framework for becoming a secure haven for yourself. And I promise you, the financial parallel that surfaces in this conversation is one of those moments where you will want to hit pause and just sit with it for a second. We also get into daily practices, the thank you journal that she recommends, and what it actually means to choose better over familiar. So let's get back into it. I love
So,
that reference point, a garden. Oh my
yes.
goodness. Um, so, how do you, given your film background, your coaching work, one of the things that we talked about when we had our Zoom call in November is storytelling. And so
hmm
I am curious, how does storytelling in general and working in film shape the way that you approach your coaching work today?
I think the most beautiful way that storytelling impacts my work as a coach is that we are literally rewriting women's stories. We are changing
Mm,
the ending, and we're changing it from like striving for a, made up fairy tale happily ever after and like changing it to like a let's dance together, like let's go on this adventure. It's like the new ending is the new beginning. I don't know. There's so many amazing metaphors, but storytelling, as a filmmaker, I was receiving piles and piles of footage, hours and hours of disparate facts, and narrowing that down to the most compelling
mm,
story. And so, one of the things, like you said, about having a leak in your ceiling and coming to our Zoom call, you showed up as you are. And that is what my space provides for women. It's a
mhm.
place to show up as you are, it's a place to show up in the messy middle, to bring your whole self, to mine the gap between where you are now and where you want to be, not hide from it or it's a place to face the truth and tell your story and be heard and seen and understood and practice the relationship with me that you want to have with friends, with family, with future lovers. Like,
Mhm.
it's the place to figure that all out. And the storytelling lens also lends itself so well to like working on limiting beliefs. What are the stories you're telling
Right.
yourself? And what is the story you want to tell
Mm,
yourself? So I think identity work, which we both do so much of, like
mhm,
how do you become her?
mhm.
Who is she?
Yeah. Yep.
What is this character?
Yep.
Who is the avatar of who you're wanting to become? And what is the gap between you and her? And what is the self-worth and the nervous system gap between you and your dreams,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah. 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 I am just stuck on the idea of showing up as you are. I mean, I know it is a practice, but I'm just stuck on it being a practice. But how the degree to which you embrace that could be connected to, or can is not can be, is connected to your beliefs. And even like I think about Part of my, oh no, I hear it echo.
You hear an echo?
I think it's gone now. Okay.
Okay.
Part of my work, and the speaking arm of my business is I don't care what it takes. I will be there. Whether it's a virtual event or an in-person event, I will be there and I will be 100%, even if that means I crash 10 minutes afterward. But no one will know. And so maybe people can tell by my voice that I am still dealing with a cold because I sound a little bit still like Eartha Kitt. But thankfully today wasn't Friday when I would not have been able to do this. But when we talk about, because I had a 101 temperature, but when we talk about showing up as you are, I could have said, oh, you know what, Janice, can we reschedule? I'm not feeling 100%. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I feel good enough to do this, and it will be my 100% that I can give today. And I think why I'm highlighting that is I think especially for high achieving women, we sometimes think that 100% is the same 100% every day. And the reality is that my 100% today is my 100% today. But tomorrow, when I'm even more improved and am really feeling 100% physically, that will be a different 100%, and both will be fine. But I don't think we
Yes.
always give ourselves that grace of letting our 100% be look differently from day to day or week to week or month to month or even year to year. What do you think of that?
Yes. Yes, I think like working within your capacity. And as I was saying, as I was listening to you, I was feeling like, okay, yes, it's so important to show up as you are and also to give yourself permission to reschedule when you need to.
Hmm.
But the fact that you are showing up as you are just speaks to how aligned you are with the work that you're doing, that you can bring your 100% to this today because it brings you joy. I can see it
Yeah.
in your face. And so it is this dance, this like shades of gray around
Hmm.
what you give your 100% to, right?
Hmm.
It's like making decisions that you love
Right.
and giving your
Right.
daily 100% to things that nourish you and give back to you. And there's a there's a reciprocal relationship
Yeah.
there with you and your life, and you're engaged in it, right? And so many, so many high achieving women are giving themselves 100% to so many things and thinking they can and have to do it all, and that their self-worth is tied to how much they can do and how many hats they can wear and how much they can perform and shapeshift to
Hmm.
fit into the lives that they want. And I would like all women to know that there is a different way and a more aligned way, and a way that really allows you to be fulfilled and
Right.
happy and
Right.
joyful. But it's going to be a bumpy road, it's going to be an adventure, and not everyone is going to like you or understand you.
Right.
But that's when you're going to find your real people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I'm curious to know, like one of the, I know I wanted to ask you, and I will ask you about the role of self trust. But I'm also curious when you talk about self worth, what's the role of self acceptance in there? So maybe you can tackle both.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
the role of, yeah, self acceptance and self trust when it comes to self worth.
Yeah, I think the paradox with self trust is that you have to learn to not trust yourself first, to stop
Hmm.
trusting those negative spirals and the negative beliefs that have programmed your life to move in a certain way for so long, that have kept you safe. And so you have to build self trust one tiny step at a time. That's the other thing, is like your smallest commitments. It can seem like, okay, let's start with, investing in stocks. Let's start with
Mm-hmm.
building a new career. Let's get my career going. Let's get money coming in the door, and then I'll feel worthy, and then I can deal with my wounds and my self-trust later, right? But
Right.
that's like grabbing the candles for the cake and like lighting them and then hoping that like you can build the cake with everything like burning fully. And you're going to need to build the cake first, like one layer at a time. And so starting with those commitments to yourself that are feasible to achieve, it's like, okay, if you can't get to the gym once a week, can you drink water every day? Like the
Mm,
commitments have to be small enough for you to keep them. And as you keep those promises to yourself, the self trust begins to build. And where allowance comes in is like you said about 100% not being the same every day. Like you're not going to feel the same every day, and being able to dance with yourself in that gray area and be loving towards yourself. I like to call it reparenting, like literally treating yourself like your own baby. Like that's going to require different things on different days. And so
right.
allowing yourself to feel. So love is actually an acronym in my program, the love method.
Mm,
Love is an acronym, and
okay.
it is an acronym that helps you build self trust, and it is the foundation of my program, and everything else expands from there.
Ooh, what is it an
So
acronym for?
I know I look forward to your thoughts as we work through it.
Okay.
Yeah, L is for listen and observe. Let me start again. L is for listen and lead. So you are listening deeply to your body. You are dropping out of your overthinking mind that is strategizing and trying to figure everything out. And you are dropping into your body to listen to yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a radical act for women wearing multiple hats with
Mm-hmm.
children. The more things going on, the more
Mm-hmm.
revolutionary it is to just listen internally, and creating the space in your life to make that possible, getting the alone time you need to listen to yourself, getting the silence, the space, the stillness that you need to listen to your body, and then leading from there, leading by putting yourself radically first. So that's L. O is for observe and own. So you are going to observe yourself in these steps, in these challenges of reframing your life and shifting your identity and expanding your capacity and moving into your potential. You're going to observe yourself. You're going to step out of being in the fray of everything. You're going to step out of like trying to fix everything and react, and
Mm-hmm.
slow down so that you can observe. And then you own the truth, you own your capacity, you own where you're at, not in a way that is like surrendering to the limiting beliefs that you have, but just in a
Mm-hmm.
way that is like, I'm stepping out of this. I'm not taking it so personally. I'm the observer, and I'm owning the truth. I'm owning where I'm at so that we can actually take steps forward. And so V is for value and validate. So you're going to move from your deepest values. You find out what those are through my program, and you validate every feeling that arises. So it's like, oh, why am I so mad? Why am I so sad? I shouldn't be taking this so personally. Go ahead, feel your feelings, validate every feeling. It's a huge paradoxical revolutionary
Mm-hmm.
move in how society is organized today, to just
Mm-hmm.
validate and be like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, yeah, you're really
I feel
upset
that
about
way.
this. Yeah, you're feeling a little under the weather today, and
Yeah.
you're still gonna show up for things, and that must be really hard. Validate.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to figure out how to speak to my child. I realized I had to figure out how to speak to myself first.
Mm.
So that's where that validation
Mm.
practice comes from. And then we embody with ease. And that is also revolutionary, to just like embody what we are listening, observing, valuing, validating, and just embody where you're at with ease to relax into, okay, I have a hole in my ceiling today.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're going to do. And I'm here with you. I'm here with you. To actually be in your own body. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of high achieving women, especially if they have childhood trauma, have the superpower of dissociating. I know because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And stepping into your body and cultivating the safety in your life to be in your body
Mm-hmm.
is so powerful. And so, there's a difference between easy and ease. Like
Mm.
ease is not easy. Like life might
Right.
not get easier, but when you cultivate the safety in your life, which also means knowing how to ask for help, knowing who your people are, knowing where your resources are, being willing to allow money into your life, that is
Yes.
where embodying
Yes.
ease comes in. Like, I got this, I got your back from within.
Yeah, I love, love, love that. And everybody listening, you need to sign up for the love method. Um, and for me, one of the reasons why it's really resonating is because I think all of those are required for feeling grounded when you are making, especially financial choices that have huge ramifications that go along with them, or financial choices that you really truly don't want to make but need to because circumstances call for it. And I think it's a way of being able to make peace with that disparity between what it is you would ideally like to do versus what it may be required of you to do. And so, one of the reasons the ease versus easy really just kind of stood out for me is because sometimes we've got to make those tough financial choices that are not easy, but they are going to provide a little bit of ease in the moment, and perhaps also in in the longer term, even if in the short term it doesn't feel like that.
Hmm. Yes, right. And deserving that ease,
Yes.
right, is
Yes.
the ticket. It's the
Yeah.
ticket. So,
Yeah. And I was thinking also about how when you were talking about commitments to self, I wonder if you've ever suggested this to folks, because I suggest it to people when it comes to money. I suggest that they track what they do with their money, but not for the purposes of creating a budget, which is
hmm.
what a lot of people will automatically presume when I say track your money. Because actually, what I'm asking them to track is not just, how much they spent or what it was spent on, but I'm also looking for them to track what were you feeling at the time that you made this purchase or you made this decision. And
Hmm.
was whatever you did something that you wanted to do, or was it something that you needed to do? Was it for yourself? Was it for someone else? Like, to me, those are all the different data points that you want to gather, because I don't think you can interrupt a pattern of behavior if you don't have some data points to actually reflect on to see, well, what is really happening here? And when I think about the commitment to self, two things came to mind. One is the tracking, because it can help you with um, making note of wins, even the quote unquote small wins.
Yes.
Like, for example, yesterday I had a session with a coaching client. And even though we are on a year long engagement, it had been a month since our last session, travel and all that other kind of stuff. And I have people complete a results tracking form so that we can just, keep
Yeah.
track. And when she submitted it, she was like, "Oh, I don't have any wins." So then we're talking, and I'm like, going through things. I'm like, "Girl, you closed 4 deals. What do you mean you don't have any wins?" And it is amazing the things we don't give ourselves credit for. that we don't see as the wins because for whatever reason, those things did not feel big. And we all may attach, different sizes to different wins for different reasons, but my whole thing is you got to call it all a win. Whether it's a
Yes.
small, quote unquote, a small win or a quote unquote big win. And I also think that when you track, you can also see the extent to which you might be putting other people first before you put yourself first. Because if you see whether it's, tracking your commitments, or tracking your money, if you see that everything is going towards somebody else and not toward you, what does that say connected to the deservedness that you talked about and the self-worth that you talked about? What does that say? If everything
Exactly.
is for someone or for some others, you know?
Yes, that you can't be okay until everyone else is okay.
Right.
Like when the baby stops crying, when your mother stops calling,
Yep.
when your husband is well fed, like then you can maybe sneak something out, like a girls' weekend, like
Right.
like no. How about you're the main character of your life,
Right.
and one of the huge things that got me over the line to getting a divorce was this moment where I was like having a tense moment with my then husband. And I looked at my child and I was like, oh my gosh, my child is not going to know me
Mm.
if I don't leave this relationship. She's
Mm.
going to she's going to know this version of me that is trying to save this marriage. And that was a moment that pushed me over the line into taking a huge leap into financial relationship unknown. Like, yes, this vacuum is, this black void of unknown is a better decision than staying right here. And that was such a wild decision, but my child knows me. She gets to see me happy. She gets to see me fulfilled. And I'm modeling to her how to put myself
Right.
first. I'm
Yes.
like, Mama needs some rest, and Mama needs a break, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, and we have so much fun together, and
Does she ever say to
yeah.
you, I need a break, mommy?
She says, Mama, don't. She says, Mom, don't stop talking so emotionally.
Oh, that is so funny.
I'm like, I'm teaching you all the things, but I have to honor her for who she is and what she needs,
Right.
and not try to compensate for what I wish that I had. It's all a
Right.
dance, right?
Right. Right.
Ultimately.
Right.
But yes, remind me what we were talking about. We're getting into such good stuff that I'm like, where were we? Because might have had something else to add.
Oh, I was just commenting on how much I love what the acronym of the love method stands for. So you said the L was listen and lead, the O observe and own, the V value and validate, and the E embody and ease, not to be confused with easy.
Yes, and what you said about wins happens in my container as well. My
Mhm.
clients get a assessment every week. What are your wins? Have you acted in your own best self-interest? What are you proud of? What challenges remain? Just we mine the information. We
Mhm.
track the data, and it's so amazing to watch my clients go from like an 18 on the self-love scale to a 50 in like 7 weeks. And it's like
Mhm.
your life is changing. It's right
Yeah.
before our very eyes. But they will say, like, I had a lot of like emergencies this week, so I didn't have any wins. And it's like how you get through the tough times is a win. And
Right.
I love what you've said. I've shifted to calling in the community. I have, instead of wins, I have self-love deposits.
Oh, I love
I
that.
know. I
Yeah.
didn't think of it through the financial lens, but it's perfect, right? In
Yes,
the
very
financial
much
lens,
so.
your
Yes,
self-love
absolutely.
deposits.
That's right. Because then you can see those deposits growing and the compound interest.
Yes, invest in yourself,
You
right?
know,
Invest in yourself.
exactly, exactly. Okay,
Yes.
a complete sidebar, but kind of related tech geek out moment. Do you use Airtable
I
as
do
your?
use
Oh,
Airtable as my data collection tool.
yes, me
Yes.
too.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
Uh,
For those of you listening, if you know, you know.
yes. And yes, I want to create like a whole, maybe I'll do like a whole self-love deposits spreadsheet where it's like just that. Like, can you
Yeah.
just do that? So yeah, these
Ah,
small
love that.
commitments to yourself. It's called in my program, it's called a love commitment stack.
Hmm.
So you're stacking your commitments. Once
Right.
you are able to do the first commitment, then you move on to the next commitment. But you're not
Love
going to
it.
move on until you're really consistent with the one,
Right.
because you need to build the cake so you can
Yep.
put the candles on
Right. Yeah, I love that.
and
I
yeah,
love that.
celebrate yourself. Yeah.
So, you know, the whole idea of how um, you go to work or focus on one thing, but there's a ripple effect, often in a positive way, in another area of your life. So your folks are coming to you because there is some sort of a professional impasse that they want to navigate themselves through. But as they're doing that, do you see any and actually I'm going to change that to not do you notice any relationship between the shifts that they're making as they work with you and your scope of work and how that shows up with their money?
Very much so. Yeah. I have a client who's a director for big pharmaceuticals, and she came to me in the midst of a divorce, and she had a 2-year-old child at the time, and it was so incredible to see her go from like being terrified of being alone, being terrified of leaving her relationship, terrified of moving into a new place. She just The second week of working with me, she signed in from a new condo, and she was like, I did it. I'm out. I have started this new chapter of my life. And that was an incredible win. And it got harder before it got easier.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very financially afraid of the repercussions of her choice. Even though she was the breadwinner and she was supporting her husband for over 10 years, she was still terrified of being a single
Mm-hmm.
mother and holding down a household on one income.
Mm-hmm.
And as we worked together, she ended up building her self worth so much that she landed the biggest deal of her career.
Mm,
And it
that's
wasn't
beautiful.
because, yeah, it wasn't because life got easier. It wasn't because
Right.
she had more support. It was because she had her own back, and she believed in herself so
Mm-hmm.
deeply, and she prepared for that pitch like like a badass who knows that she's going to win it. And
Right.
by the time she went for that pitch, she didn't care if she was going to win. She was just so proud of believing in herself and believing
Yeah.
in her art and her purpose, that she went into that pitch just getting to share her heart and her love for what she does. And she ended up like beating out more experienced competitors and a whole bunch of people, and landing this huge like over, it was like a many 5-figure deal. And yeah, we
I
celebrated.
love that story. Many congratulations to her and to you for being there to support her in that. And it just reminds me of how sometimes the the way to be detached in a healthy way from the outcome is to prepare like hell so that no matter what, you are like, I know I did the best.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. While also taking immaculate care of yourself,
Well,
getting the
yeah,
rest
that
that you
too.
need. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
there's always like a both and like
right.
supporting yourself and preparing. Now, preparing for me used to include like staying up all night. I went to Wellesley College, one of the best schools in
Mm-hmm.
the country, and
Mm-hmm.
I stayed up all night, every night, read till my eyes
Mm-hmm.
were bleeding. Like, I worked so hard to get A's in college, and now I understand that preparing includes getting sleep,
Right.
having a morning routine. Like, preparing is not just about the intellectual status of things, but it's like truly listening to my body and showing up fully, and also trusting in
Right.
myself. And even before this conversation, I felt nervous. I felt nervous, and now I don't feel nervous at all. I feel so
Right.
excited and happy to be here. And part of that is like, before the podcast, I was like, I trust the universe will help bring the stories that I would like to share today. And I am so grateful that I get to speak on what I love
Mm-hmm.
today and be in my purpose and in my passion with you.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because look, I'm hosting and I was nervous. But
Yes.
it's like, I know what I want us to talk about. We have a run of
Hmm.
show. Do we need to stick to it, line by line? No, but at least we've got a guiding point and we'll be good. We know what we're doing.
I know. We're bringing so much light to everyone, and
Yes.
at the end of the day, like, look, it's human connection. It's so
Exactly.
powerful.
Exactly. And I'm like, there are certainly have been times when I wanted to be more explicit about the overlap, but I'm like, our listeners and viewers are smart enough that if we don't call out every single darn overlap, it'll be okay. They'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I do want to be mindful of your time because we are already over time. So, what are 2 to 3 daily practices or tools that you believe can make the biggest difference in someone's ability to regulate stress, boundaries, or self worth?
Yeah, I would love to share. And they actually fall into the acronyms.
Mm,
And what I would, most highly recommend to listeners is that listening to your body. So that could include meditation, visualization. I actually have meditations on Insight Timer that you can try, but finding that stillness to listen into your body and taking the next smallest step of what you need.
mm-hmm.
Start with the small things and build from there. Address your needs and get that stillness and space to reflect. The second practice that I recommend is visualization. It's so powerful. You've mentioned it on your podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
Visualize visualize what you want. Be clear about it. Like, you can have anything on the menu. It can be something that you'd never even expect to put on the menu. Visualize what you are wanting. Think about what you want, not what you don't want. So
Right.
visualize where you want to be, and really feel the feelings of that visual that you imagine. Feel the clothing on you, smell the smells. Where are you? Use all of your five senses to create that visual for yourself, and that will begin to shift your beliefs if you do it on a regular
Mm-hmm.
basis. I also love to guide my clients through these on a regular basis in the program. And lastly, I'll share a personal practice that I do. I could just keep going with so many different rituals and practices. Like, secretly, I'm a witch, but
Okay.
So
That'll be another podcast episode.
yeah, next time we can get into that.
Yeah.
But the ritual that I do for myself that I find incredibly powerful, it's not just a gratitude practice. You know, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
talk about gratitude practices, and that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And like, I do walk through my day being like, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so grateful for the peace and sunshine in San Diego at this
Mm-hmm.
time on earth that is so much less than peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And just every moment of delight, let those delights be
Mm-hmm.
what you live and breathe. And but deeper than that, I have a journal in which I do a thank you practice where I say, you know, thank you for that flat tire that prevented me from getting to my doctor's appointment on time. Like, thank you for helping me set the boundaries that I need to set to shift this relationship. Thank you for the wins, you know, thank you for this client who booked a call with me, but also like, thank you for the struggle. Thank you for showing
Mm.
me what I don't like. Thank you for showing me how this project isn't aligned with me. And
Mm-hmm.
so just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Also with money, like, thank you for the easy 20K months. Like, thank you for letting my passion be the
Yes.
thing that brings
Mm-hmm.
money into my life. Like,
Right.
so I love doing that at the end of the day. It's just a
Mm.
beautiful way to just allow, like you said,
Right.
that self-acceptance, like accepting and believing that nothing is a setback, everything is a lesson, and allowing that to be part of the gratitude
Yeah.
process, practice.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And it's so funny when you talked about the thank yous because yesterday I got a, we're not going to move forward email for a speaking engagement that I was under consideration for. It had to have been the best we're not moving forward email. And I had to write them back and say, thank you. Like, thank you for, like, I was like, this is one of the best we're not moving forward emails I've ever
Right.
received. I was like, thank you for the time, because we had a few meetings. Like, thank you for that. Thank you for even having me under consideration. And thank you for letting me know because some people don't even let you know. Or when they do let you know, it's just so robotic in terms of the answer
Right.
that they gave. But I was like, I have never been so pleasantly like, I'm not even going to say surprised, but it just made receiving the no, which I really just took as no right now. Um, but even if that's just me, in my own little self-hype, self-talk, it was just still one of those things of, oh, well, thank you. I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know if that fits into your thank you journal
for
practice,
sure.
but it just made me think about it because that literally was yesterday that I got that note and then sent a response that said, "This was the best we're not moving forward email I've ever gotten." So thank you for that.
Yes. Yeah, and what I'm hearing is just that you had like you used the word receiving and just stepping into that receiving mindset. Like
Mm-hmm.
what is the gift of this situation? What
Yes.
is it, what positive change is this driving me to make? And
Mm-hmm.
you're in alignment. So you know that it's not about being chosen, you know, it's about seeking out what you want. And if you really
Right.
want that, that you will knock on that door again and again until it works
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. I
And I
like to
also
say, sorry, I
no,
like
go
to
ahead.
say,
Go.
rejection is redirection, right?
Yes, I do. I do. I do agree. Sometimes it's easier to swallow that than others. But I do agree with that. Um, and I also think that when it comes to the thank you practice, I think it is incredibly important, especially when things are tight financially, to give thanks for whatever it is you have in that moment. It
Yes.
may not be what you want, but giving thanks for what it is that you do have, I think I don't even know how to put it into words. It does something. I don't know how to describe it
Yes.
other than it does something. It creates the space for whatever it is that you need to give you a little bit more. of a runway than what you currently have. So I really do appreciate the thank you practice. And I just wanted to remind people, again, listening or watching, that particularly, I think we should give thanks all the times, but particularly when things are tight, that's when we really need to double down on thank you for what I have right now, even if it's, not what you want it to be.
Yes, yes. Every time something comes into my bank account, big or small, I
Hmm.
say thank you as I read
Absolutely.
that email.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Hmm.
that practice. And
Yeah.
it's not about toxic positivity. It's not about
Mm-mm.
not feeling the anxiety of that stress or not feeling the disappointment of a rejection. Feel it all, validate it all, and also thank it for the direction that it's pushing you in.
Well, I think the key word there you just said was and, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not binary. It's not either or. It can be both and. you can
Exactly.
you can feel, the disappointment of, oh darn, I didn't get that, and still be grateful for how they told you no.
Mm-hmm.
Or, still acknowledge, it's $100 short. I need a little bit more, but still be grateful for the fact that you have something which is better than starting at zero, which makes it that you only need $100 more. Like there's always something you could find, I feel. Again,
Yes.
without it leaning into that toxic positivity, which I don't like. I think that's not very helpful.
No.
If you could give one message to all of our folks on how to choose better over familiar, because I think I got that from your website. Am I
Mm-hmm.
correct? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you could give one message to every listener about how to choose better over familiar, what would that be?
There's so many angles that I could approach this from. They say that if it gives you a certain type of anxiety, it's the familiar. And sometimes that anxiety feels like home. Sometimes we feel like if it's not stressful and hard, then it can't be right.
Mm.
And so the message that I would like to give listeners is it's okay to be okay. It's okay to experience ease. You deserve to experience joy. And that's the only way you're going to choose better over the familiar. And sometimes when you receive that joy, you're going to want to jump out of your skin because it's going to feel very unfamiliar. And holding the space for yourself to deserve that is the flex.
Oh, there's so much that I love about that because I think, especially perhaps for our generation, or I'll say mine because I'm Gen X, um, a part of the messaging, especially from an academic and a professional standpoint, was you got to work hard, you got to work hard, you got to work hard. And I think that there are, yeah, are periods where hard work is required, but we do need to um, reframe how we are evaluating hard and what makes something hard. And I know I'm not being really clear, but I guess maybe a good example would be this is when I was first starting my business. So I started my business in 1995, and I remember rewriting for a municipal organization, rewriting their 401k not plan, but their workbook for their 401k participants so that it
Mm-hmm.
it read less like a very just mechanical, really dry mechanical book, and like how people experience money and do all of that, right? So I it only took me 4 hours to do. And if I'm remembering correctly, I either got paid 15 or 20. And I freaked out. Like, I'm like, and I was working with the coach at the time. I was like, who in the world makes that much money working only 4 hours? It wasn't even hard for me. And he said to me, why does everything have to be hard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've not forgotten that question ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we measure whether something was valuable based upon the degree to which it was hard for us to do or to accomplish?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
that's why your it's okay to be okay and ease and joy and better over familiar, because for me the familiar was, well, if I didn't stay up, like you were making a reference, if I didn't stay up all night, if I didn't do this, if I didn't do that, if it didn't take me multiple days, then I couldn't possibly charge this much. But that I did, and they didn't even blink an eye, meant really that I should have charged more.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a
Yeah.
perfect example of the difference between better over familiar.
Yeah, and how it applies to money, how it applies to love, how, I would look at my friends' relationships and be like, why is their relationship so much easier than mine? And it's like, oh, I was programmed to see challenging relationships as like to conflate love with hard work, to
Mm,
conflate deserving with hard work. And um, so the more tension there was, the more confusion there was, the more like I don't quite understand this person, or I can't quite figure them out, or the more confusing it was, the more I wanted to like prove that it could work.
right,
And to change that attraction requires like deep rewiring.
right.
And
Yeah,
same with allowing money to flow into your life.
yeah.
Like you have to start at the core and change your
Yep,
beliefs.
yep, exactly. I do have
Mm-hmm.
one more question, but before I
Sure.
do that, I just want to again thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for letting us go over. Thank you for your candor in terms of weaving in your own story as you were sharing with us about the love method. And there's one other thing that I want to give you thanks for, because I don't hear enough people doing it. And I think it is so powerful, which is your intentional pauses before you answered. I think that is so important. I think it is so powerful. And I think that many of us could benefit. We're not on live radio, so we don't have to worry about, oh my God, there's dead air. Um, I just think it's important to model giving ourselves a minute.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you did that a few times, and I just wanted to thank you for that and make sure that I called that out as something that is powerful. And when we talk about leadership, right? How powerful is it when you are in a meeting to take a moment so that when you do speak next, your voice and what it is your voice is saying can truly be heard. So I wanted to just thank you for that. And on that note, what is something that you are excited about right now?
Thank you so much for all of your kind words. And something that I am excited about right now is, of course, the love method and building this program and helping women step into their power and attract healthy love and change their lives. And I am excited about my garden, because
Ooh,
not just because I'm growing kale and tomatoes and flowers and snap peas, but because doing that required stepping into the unknown. Not
Mm.
only having the stillness and space in my life and the home that I have where I can do that, it also required being like, I don't know how to garden, but I'm going to
Mm.
do it anyway.
Oh,
And
I love
so my
that.
garden, when I water it, is just like a testament to doing things scared, planting seeds and seeing what happens, watering them, letting them grow,
I love
being
it.
okay with the unknown, right?
Right.
So,
I love it. Well, again, Janice, thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon. I really, really appreciate it.
thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yay. Have a great
Yay.
evening.
You too. Seriously, thank you so much. It's been such an honor to connect
Yay.
with you. I look forward to the next time. Let's regroup soon.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk more about the which thing. All right, one admin thing. Don't hop off
Yeah,
just yet. I'm just going to stop the recording.
right. Okay.
Wow. These last two episodes and my conversation with Janice, they have just really been something else. And what I keep coming back to is this, and it is Janice's reframe of self love, and that it's not as much of a feeling that you wait for, but as a practice that you build one small commitment at a time. And that moment when she introduced self love deposit, I mean, come on. For those of us who think about money and behavior for a living, that really landed, and it landed hard because it's the same principle, right? Small, consistent deposits in your own self worth, in your own nervous system, in your own capacity to receive. They compound over time just like money does. And you are the investment, you are also the return. And so, if this conversation moved something in you, I would love to know. Tag me on Instagram or on LinkedIn and tell me your biggest takeaway. What resonated with you from my conversation, whether it was the last episode or this one? And also, what might you do differently? So, yeah, let me know. And if you'd like to learn more about Janice and her love method, you can find out more about her by going to her website, janisvogel.com, and that's JANISVOGEL.com. For now, that is it for today, folks. As always, thank you so much for listening or watching over there on YouTube, if that is the case. And if you like what you've heard in this particular episode or you appreciate this podcast overall, please do me a favor and share it with those in your circle so that we can reach more people than we ever could on our own. And if you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please take a moment and leave a rating and a review because, yes, that is what helps us with the algorithm. And if you are on YouTube, please press subscribe and leave a comment. And if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that by going to buymeacoffee.com/Jaquette, buymeacoffee.com/Jaquette. Thanks again for listening or watching, as the case may be. I will be back with another episode, and I hope that you will too. Until then, remember, it's about more than money.